We spend years endlessly cramming information into our heads, yet the absolute secret to mastering any complex skill in record time isn't about what you consume. It's about how you extract it. If you want to learn hard subjects so fast it feels almost illegal, you must completely abandon the traditional rules of education and rewire your brain's natural machinery. To understand why extracting information is faster than reading it, you must understand how your brain actually stores data. Your memories are not permanent recordings. They are much more like Wikipedia pages that anyone can edit, and the main editor is you. Every single time you remember something, you literally change it. The sheer act of recall makes your memories highly malleable, allowing your brain to fill in gaps with current knowledge and modify details based on new experiences. You are not actually remembering the original event. You are remembering the last time you remembered it. By actively forcing your brain to retrieve a complex skill or concept, you are continuously editing and strengthening that neural pathway until it becomes a permanent highway in your mind. However, the biggest mistake most people make when trying to rapidly learn a complex skill is assuming they need to master absolutely everything. To drastically accelerate your learning, you must embrace the 80-20 life principle. Understand this: 20% of what you do creates 80% of your results. The remaining 80% is just expensive noise. In learning, as in life, we are all majoring in minor things. The math is exponential, meaning you must intensely identify your vital 20% and double down on it, completely ignoring everything else. The brutal truth is that most of what you consume is waste, meaning you can cut 80% of your learning efforts and barely even notice the difference. Once you have isolated that vital 20%, how do you rapidly lock it into your brain? You employ the ultimate active extraction tool, the teacher effect. If you want to learn absolutely anything faster, you must teach it to someone else. Explaining a concept literally forces your brain to understand it at a much deeper level. You might tell yourself that you are not ready to teach yet, but that is exactly why you must do it. Your ongoing struggles actually make you a significantly better teacher than a seasoned expert, because you still vividly remember exactly what is confusing about the material. By actively pulling the information out to teach it, you bypass passive reading entirely. To further organize this newly extracted knowledge, you can map your learning onto physical space using the memory palace technique. As you process complex details, place them in specific locations within an imaginary house. For example, you might place a core concept in the living room, a challenging formula in the kitchen, and a vital rule in the garage. By doing this, you make remembering crucial details completely effortless. When you need to recall the information later, you simply walk through your mental memory palace and retrieve the specific details right where you left them. But none of these cognitive techniques will work if your physical brain is depleted. Learning complex skills requires massive mental energy, and your brain has a strictly finite amount of decision-making power each day. To learn fast, you must establish a strict mental energy diet and be highly selective about what deserves your remaining cognitive power. Your phone and laptop act as energy vampires, quietly but aggressively draining your potential. We trick ourselves into thinking that scrolling through social media is a form of rest, but it is essentially junk food for your brain. Deep, concentrated learning is brain nutrition, and you must build a physical fortress around your focus to protect it from digital noise. This energy management extends to the most critical phase of rapid learning, which actually happens when you are entirely unconscious. While you sleep, your brain runs a full cleaning crew, acting like night shift janitors. During deep sleep, cerebrospinal fluid washes through your brain tissue, actively clearing out toxic metabolic waste that built up during your intense learning sessions. Your brain physically shrinks during sleep just to create more space for this vital cleaning process, opening up channels for the fluid to flow through. If you adopt the toxic mindset of "I'll sleep when I'm dead," you are destroying your ability to consolidate new skills. Sleep is your brain's absolute superpower, and without it, your decision-making and learning capabilities are as severely impaired as being drunk. When your brain is rested, you can accelerate your mastery through a strategy known as creative cross-pollination. Allow your different learning activities to blend together naturally. If you are learning to play the guitar, try doodling the chord patterns. If you are reading a historical text, actively act out the scenes when you are alone. When you mix activities like this, your brain creates amazing new neural pathways, making boredom absolutely impossible and accelerating your comprehension. To learn at this illegal speed, you must completely shift your relationship with education. Your formal education may have ended, but your real education is just beginning. The most valuable skill you can ever develop is not any specific expertise, but rather learning how to learn. In a world changing at unprecedented speed, the ability to continuously learn, unlearn, and relearn is your greatest competitive advantage. You must transition to self-directed learning, where curiosity, not a rigid curriculum, guides your education. This mindset shifts challenges from threats to incredible opportunities. The goal is to develop intellectual flexibility that allows you to adapt to whatever comes next. As you embark on mastering something new, leave your ego completely behind. Most people try to immediately get good at everything, but smart people choose to stay strategically bad at some things. This practice is called deliberate amateurism, and it keeps your brain flexible while keeping your ego in check. Do not view limitations as roadblocks. Constraints are not your enemy. They are your superpower. Limited time, limited money, and limited resources are actually highly beneficial because these constraints physically force you to be creative. Furthermore, if a learning path is fundamentally misaligned with your goals, you must utilize the incredibly valuable skill of strategic quitting. Strategic quitting is not a failure. It is simply making necessary space for better opportunities. Quit fast on things that no longer serve your growth. Ultimately, learning complex skills at a staggering speed does not require massive, exhausting leaps. It relies entirely on the mathematical secret of the compound effect. A mere 1% daily improvement mathematically equals an incredible 3,728% yearly improvement. Tiny choices create massive destinies. If you read just 10 pages daily, that compounds to 12 entire books a year. The fundamental problem is that we drastically overestimate what we can accomplish in a single day, and we massively underestimate what we can achieve in a year. Success in learning is not a sprint, it is compound interest for your entire life. Knowledge is not power, understanding is power. True understanding is built choice by choice, habit by habit, and day by day. You are not discovering some predetermined intellectual destiny. You are actively creating it. The ultimate cheat code to mastering anything requires just 3 steps. Accept what you cannot control, master your actions, and compound tiny improvements daily. Everything else is just commentary. Focus heavily on your systems rather than your goals, and the compound effect will handle the rest. Start small today. Become a teacher of your craft. Actively edit your memories, protect your brain's biological recovery, and watch as mastering the impossible becomes entirely effortless.